Happy Wednesday.
Activating AJ.
This is Jeremy, and these are extraordinary times. First off, our first story of the day comes out of New York. Actually, our first and second stories come out of New York about a former Hasidic Jew woman who came out with a book, or wrote a book recently, and is coming out in the next, I think, 4 or 5 days.
Something like that.
Called Unorthodox. It's detailing a very, very stringent sect of the Jewish faith that lives in New York and other places, but her particular sect was in New York.
For me, this is really something that kind of touches home, simply because I've always been against extremism in one direction or another. It took me a while to realize it, but really that's what it is for me. Anything way too extreme usually leads
or liberal.
Exactly. One direction or the other is usually a bad thing. Either even religious, non-religious, scientific, non-scientific. You get too extreme in one direction or the other, you start becoming blind to any other possibilities, and you start doing crazy stuff, like forcing women to shave their heads and then wear wigs.
That one, I'm sorry, I laugh a little because it's just so ridiculous to me. Those of us who grew up with very Western sensibilities in our head, we think about, oppressing women, being, beating them, subjugating them, or whatever. But this kind of stupid stuff, it's like, why?
Why is this still going on in the U.S.?
Why is it still going on? Period. It's just, it doesn't make sense. We were in a war with extremist Muslims, and apparently these are the kind of people who fight extremist Muslims, and still they're doing like weird, similar, awful things. Extremism really just blows my mind.
Speaking of extremism,
holy
crap!
The second story. First off, go check out that book. I'm going to go check out that book because it actually looks pretty interesting. Second off, also out of New York.
Okay, so this mom is suing the state of New York because...
Wait. We have to start out with the best part.
No, I want to lead into it.
You want to lead into it?
Yes.
How much it's for? It's retarded. Continue. I'm sorry.
So she's suing the state of New York for holding her children through child services for 3 years and then giving them back. There's some misinformation, evidently. Part of taking her children away was due to her mental illness. And now she is suing them for $900 trillion.
There's not that many dollars on Earth.
That's more than the national debt.
No, you don't understand. There's not that many dollars on Earth. Go to XKCD. They detail
There's
it
not
very
even
well.
half that many dollars. Does she really think this is going to work? Does she really think she's ever going to get this money? I mean, she had her children taken away
I'll settle out of court for $900 billion. Sorry. It's just crazy.
Never gonna get this. I'm sorry. You're not gonna get this. One direction or the other. Even if you this judge somehow decides in your favor, the state's just gonna look at you and go, "What?
Rejected. You're fired."
Yeah.
So I mean, she had her kids taken away because she was paranoid about just all these different things, and the FBI is coming to get my kids. Well, it turns out child services actually came and got her kids.
Yeah, FBI usually doesn't kidnap children.
And yeah, she was crazy, and her kids were justifiably taken away, and now she feels the need for recompense because now she has her kids back. I don't know.
She's suing for over 3 years of terror, horror, grievous harm, time loss, substantial economic hardship, and injuries.
Horror? Horror. Speaking of horror, Yeah, no, absolutely not. This is one of the most frivolous lawsuits I've ever heard of, and I've heard of a lot.
I'm hoping the judge rules against this. Speaking of judge rulings, I'm getting better at that.
Speaking of awkward segues. So, jumping down the East Coast to Florida, we have a judge who took on a domestic violence case, as they sometimes do. And this case was a man was in a heated verbal spout with his wife because he forgot to wish her a happy birthday, something like that. And he ended up pushing her backwards on the couch and choking her a little bit. Well, putting his hand on her throat. That was the actual.
Evidently did nothing else.
Yeah.
Didn't even choke. So
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. Stay down. And so she decided to try and get him back by suing him.
Well, no, she pressed charges, is what it was.
Pressed charges.
Domestic violence charges.
Just like suing, but it's using the state to sue. And criminal court versus civil court. And for those of you who don't know, that's a bad jump in. That's skipping some levels.
Yeah.
And so this judge recognized that was skipping some levels, and he brought it back down, and he sentenced the man. I'm sorry. I gotta say, can you do it? I can't.
He sentenced the man to take his wife out on a date. Very detailed, in fact. He says, okay, you will give her roses. Come home, give her roses. Bring her to this very specific Red Lobster. And then
Very specific.
And then bring her to this very specific bowling alley.
And you will bowl.
And if you don't do this, you will be facing jail time.
Yeah, you could definitely face jail time if you do not go on this date. If you don't do everything in your power to take her on this date.
The awesome part for me, I think, is the fact that this article writer that we're going to link you to here actually did their research on this Red Lobster. It turns out it's been reviewed as possibly the best Red Lobster in the South Florida area.
Judge knows his stuff. He knew what was going down.
I kind of want to go to that Red Lobster now.
The real part of the sentencing, of course, was that they have to start going to counseling, which is no fun for anyone. So there's a happy part and a real part, but and really that's all that needed to happen for them. Go to counseling. Go talk to somebody. Don't take it to court. Don't take it to court.
I mean, if your marriage is
Somebody's
bad
been
enough,
there. It's not awesome. You don't want it. Just settle it yourselves.
Well, as a kid
As
whose parents got
been there
divorced
too.
when he was in between fifth and sixth grade, yeah, when things start getting that direction, get counseling first. Don't let it get to shoving against couches and stuff. If you're mad enough to get to that point about not being wished happy birthday, there's a problem. You should have seen it.
Wish me happy birthday this last year in person, not on Facebook. Like 3.
Oops.
What?
I missed it.
It wasn't your fault. You were places. I don't know.
And I think I just didn't know. But
the point of it is, if you take your birthday that seriously and you're that pissed at your spouse, like you got problems. Go take care of them.
Now for some real problems over in Texas. Oh, and awesomeness.
Our BAMF of the day, our greatest dad of at least this part of the year. We've been covering cool moms for a while. Cool dad time.
You cover that cool mom of the year, parent with this cool dad, and people or even things that threaten children, watch out, they will destroy you.
This is a modern father right here.
Okay, so family out on, picnic, whatever, out Big Bend National Park.
For those of you who don't know, in Texas, it kind of goes like this, and in that cup there is Big Bend National Park.
So right there near Mexico. Either way, mountain lion, cougar thing, attacked his 6-year-old son. Started biting his face.
That's not funny. He was biting his face off. That's not
Literally,
cool.
Mouth on face. And so the dad took his pocket knife, jumped on its back, and stabbed it in the chest. Yes! The boy survived and had to have 17 stitches.
That's why we could laugh about it, because he only got stitches, and his dad jumped on a mountain lion and ripped it off of him
No, the
with a knife.
The mountain lion hasn't been found. It got away, whatever. But, yeah. How many other people out there could say that they have...
My dad jumped on a lion and almost killed it to protect me. See these scars? That kid's gonna get some chicks, because chicks dig scars.
Yeah. And we're just gonna say, yeah, got these from a mountain lion.
And I was 6. You know what happened? Oh man,
Chicks for life.
Yeah, chicks for life. Anyways, that is the end of today. Go check out the stories down there if you would like to contribute, of course. AllThingsExtraordinary@gmail.com. He's AJ.
He's Jeremy.
These are extraordinary times. Beware.